Hi. So, how are you guys? How's life? How's quarantine? I thought I should answer a few. I get questions, messages all the time on in my Instagram or Facebook. Usually, it's about how I overcome my illness and just things in life. So since it's been so much lately, I thought I'd pick a few questions that I've been asked to kind of share with you guys, and hopefully it kind of helps you guys and know that anything's possible in life. So yeah, okay. So a lot of times, people ask me, how did you overcome your illness, especially the mental aspect of it? Which is a great question. And honestly, that's the hard part, right? Isn't it? And anything in life, like the mental part of it is one of the difficult things to overcome. But for me, when I got sick and I was paralyzed and I had to learn how to walk, it's something that it's hard to explain to people when you are in that situation. To the feeling, it's incredible, it's crazy. Especially for me, I went from competing, being in my best shape, and to being completely paralyzed within 4 days. Looking back, it was not easy. It was one of the hardest things I think I could say in my life that I've been through, is not able to do things on your own. For example, I drove myself to the hospital first of all, and knowing that my feeling in my legs, it was completely getting numb, and I had like breathing issues and I couldn't breathe. And I remember just driving to ER, and I drove myself to ER thinking that it's a flu, that I'm gonna go home probably, I don't know, tomorrow or so. But and I never thought 7 weeks in the hospital, almost a year and a half rehab. Anyway, so I just remember like a doctor came into my bed telling me about how I am temporarily paralyzed. So I thought he was crazy. I was like, no, I drove myself and I'm not paralyzed. It's something in my head that I didn't really accept it. It was so weird, and I knew he was telling me that I am paralyzed, but I just didn't want to believe it. And so he did his rounds and he left, and then of course other people comes, another doctor comes, and he tells me, hey, just so you know, it's gonna be, and I'm like, I just couldn't comprehend, what they're telling me. And I remember just like, it happened to me, right? We all say that it won't happen to me, but it did happen to me. And so I felt like the walls were just closing in on me, and especially when I was in ICU fighting for my life and feeling like I'm gonna die. I think that was the hardest part for me. At that time, I remember feeling sorry for myself. I was like, how is this possible? How am I paralyzed? How is this, like, why God, right? Of course, I'm blaming God for my situation. Like, why me? What did I do? And it took me a while to accept it, to accept that I was really paralyzed. I was really, not able to do things on my own, that they have to use a machine or Hoyer lift. Literally, they have this machine in the hospital that they pick you up and put you like in a commode, like to use the restroom, and they have to. That was the most humiliating feeling that I've ever felt in my life. And being in healthcare, I always took care of other people, and for me to be in that position, it was so sad. It was really, really, really devastating for me. I've always pride on myself to be independent, take care of yourself, and just be strong. And I wasn't able to take care of myself. I had to rely on nurses and doctors to help me. But at that moment, it was like, I think I was 5 days in, And I remember they would come and do a test. Neurology would come and they would poke me with needles to see if my legs are moving, if I feel anything. And he would say, okay, move your toes, and I would move my toes, but like in my mind, nothing is moving from my waist down completely. I was completely like paralyzed, but I feel like I was moving it, right? And I would tell the doctor, you don't see it? I'm moving my toes. Look at it, it's moving. And he was like, he would hold my hand and he would say, I'm sorry, it's not really moving. And with just a big smile say, Dr. Neal, just know that I'm gonna walk out this hospital without a cane, and I am not gonna be in a wheelchair. And you know, of course he was so nice, he would always like, you know, encourage me to stay positive. But what I had to do to overcome the mental aspect of what I think helped me overcome it is, first foremost, I've always believed in God. You know what I mean? I've always relied on God for anything in my life, any crazy obstacle that I've been through in my life, you know, and I just pray, and I just remember telling myself that I wasn't gonna allow what they're telling me, I'm not gonna allow that to be the factor. Even though I was still going through, like, I was still in the hospital, I still have to go through all the pain and learning how to walk and stuff, but I keep seeing myself. I remember telling myself, I'm just gonna walk again. I remember like just sitting there in the hospital bed, like my head looking at the ceiling, telling myself, I'm gonna walk again. I am gonna do this. And at times it was hard. At times I remember feeling like it might not happen for me. I might not ever walk again, you know? When they're telling you that you have to use a cane, you have to use a wheelchair, they have to transfer you. And at the moment that I was going through all that, it was hard for me to see it, but yet I still had faith. I still believe that it's gonna happen for me. I still keep telling myself, I'm like, no, I'm gonna walk again. I'm gonna like go back into how I used to be. I remember feeling this, like feeling sorry for myself one day. I was by myself in a room. I didn't have any visitors. Well, for like a week, nobody can visit me. I was on like ICU. Anyway, so feeling like I couldn't communicate with my mother, who is far away from me. I couldn't see my friends and my family member. And the only thing I have was my thoughts, which at times were crazy because it was so out of control, like, right? And you just feel like this crazy person thinking like, this can't be true. This can't be true, right? And I remember saying to myself, okay, well, at one minute I was crying. The next minute I was like, no, I'm not gonna feel this way. I'm not gonna feel sorry for myself. I need to just, you know, I need to change the way I'm thinking. If I don't do that, I'm gonna be depressed. They're gonna put me on medication, and I'm really gonna be just an absolute mental case, right? And so I made the decision at that time when I was alone. You guys, when I say I was alone, I was like, the only person that comes to see me was I was feeling. I felt empty. I felt alone. I felt like I needed my family, my mom, right? For me, I felt so sorry for myself at that moment. And I remember just crying, in fact, like feeling like so sorry for myself. I felt like, God, I can't believe it. This is my life now. Now I'm like disabled, right? And then a few minutes later, I like remember just feeling like, okay, no. And, I want to cry, you guys. I'm all happy tears. Something clicked in my head that I was no longer going to be a victim or feel sorry for myself. I was going to, like, every situation that they were going to come to me and I was going to say, nope, I'm going to walk again. I'm going to do whatever I have to do to overcome it, right? And so I have to change it here first, enable for me to walk again. Does it make sense? If your mind is not in the right state of mind, it does not matter. You could be healthy, you could still walk, and as a person you can be paralyzed just by your mind, like how how everything is controlled. So I have to change my mind about things, right? For me, that's the decision I made. I was not gonna allow sadness and negative thoughts to control me, even though my situation was so bad in that moment in the hospital. Honestly, you have to be crazy to think positive, right? But I had to. There is no other choice for me. I can only focus on being positive. And you have to change your mind. You have to think positive, even if you are in the dark moment of your life. Otherwise, it's gonna destroy you. If I hadn't done that, I would probably still be somewhat disabled. I mean, that's just how I feel like it could have happened. But I didn't allow my circumstances to put me down. I changed my mind. I pray every day. I talk to God like a crazy lady every single day. And my faith in God, I was always a faith. I've always had faith in God. I've always believed in God. But being in that situation had shown me that how powerful God is. I knew that He could do a miracle in my life. 6 o'clock they come and they do my rounds. And when the doctors leave, I'm up. I'm like, okay, God, whatever they tell me, it's a lie. I'm not gonna believe it. I know you're gonna heal me. And so that puts me down. That would say, hey, you need to be patient. That was their favorite things to say to me, doctors, like, be patient because it's gonna take you a long time. In what they are telling me to help me overcome it. Does it make sense? Like, if somebody is telling you negative things, you have to be able to block it. So what helped me block it is when I learned being in isolation by myself in my lowest days, that moving forward, whatever doctors are telling me, I wasn't gonna be feeling sorry for myself. It's always gonna be thinking positive. And so from that moment on, I just accepted. I just accepted to where I was, and I'm saying, okay, this is where I am. Guess what? I need to visualize. I know it's crazy, and I did that. And I start thinking about walking again. I start seeing myself walking again. I start telling myself that I'm gonna compete again. Crazy stuff in the hospital bed. I swear to God, like, my doctors would come to me. I would tell him and say, Dr. Mio, I'm gonna be on that stage, and you're gonna see me walking, and I'm gonna bring you a trophy. That's what I used to do. My message to you guys is that to overcome anything in life, an illness, depression, breakup, trust me, my life is not perfect. I've been through worse too. But what you can do is don't let where you are in this moment dictate your life, right? Don't allow where you are, just look at it. Know that it's gonna pass. It's gonna pass no matter what. So you might just well make your mind positive, right? Think about positive stuff instead of dwelling about that negative moment that you're going through. Yes, it's hard. Life is hard. Nothing is perfect. Trust me. If everything was perfect, it would be so boring. For me to go through all that, and I share with you guys, is because I know that it's possible, that you can overcome anything, and that starts here in our mind. Like, you have to change your mind about things and able to overcome it. And yeah, it's give you motivation to not give up. Like at things that happen to you, you're like, wow, I'm so glad I went through that, because we all learn something. Even right now, we're stuck at home, we're frustrated, we feel like we're missing out so much in life. Yes, we are in a lot of ways, but you have to find like the happy medium within where we are in the situation. Otherwise, it'll be just a waste of time sitting at home and not doing anything. And so you have to look where you are and say, okay, today I'm gonna get up, wash my face, make my bed, and I'm going to eat healthy food. You know what I mean? Like, take care of yourself somehow to make you feel better to where you are, right? So I hope that was helpful.